Since Call of Duty just came out with Black Ops 7, the seventh, yes, entry of the Black Ops series, which is insane to even think about or even say, I want to just talk about the state of Call of Duty and why it continues to fail, because you cannot go on X right now, or any social media for that matter, and without seeing a post after post after post of people talking about why the game is not fun to play, why it's riddled with problems. And it's the same thing. If you go back on my channel, I put out once a year a rant video of the game. I have not bought a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2019 because that game started the problems you see today. It started all the crazy skill-based matchmaking, the disbanding lobbies. You don't have basic things that we had years ago. Like, that was, remember, they didn't even have a mini map. They didn't have red dots. Your footsteps sounded like they could be heard from another galaxy. Doors everywhere, and there's direct quotes from the leads, not hearsay, not things Billy Bob from down the street told me. Direct quotes from the developers saying they help lower skill players get kills by making the guns more lethal, i.e., in English, making the guns kill you in 2 bullets. That's why every game since has had the highest time to kills in the series, bar none. That's not debatable. And Black Ops 7 is no different. I'm seeing people get 2-bulleted across the map, laser beams, and it's just sad. It's the same problems year after year. That's why I learned my lesson after that game. And as someone that's been playing since Call of Duty 1 or 2 when I was very, very young, no, I'm not in my 30s or 40s to where you can use that argument of, oh, you're just old and jaded from the game. It's like, no, I'm in my 20s. I'm not old, or, because people like to use this excuse. And I see it from people that were never even remotely good at Call of Duty. You see them on Twitter or on X or whatever, and they'll say things like, yeah, you guys just don't know. Black Ops 2, it's not as good as you thought it was. It really wasn't. You're just all using rose-tinted glasses, and you're just all old now. I mean, when I see stuff like that, it really saddens me, because the old adage of common sense isn't so common, it rings true. I'm a very common sense based person, and when I see things like that, knowing full and well that's false, from when, people, and they don't realize you can look up their stats, because they usually post a generic clip of them getting a double kill or something, so you can just easily look them up on a COD tracker site, and they all usually have under a 1 KD, 0.5 or 0.7. They were never good at the game, so to them, they are used to being protected now for the last 6 years. I mean, think about that. Over half of a decade, they've been protected in skill-based matchmaking bubbles. So, Black Ops Cold War was gifted to me by a complete random person I wasn't even friends with, and I played it that whole year. If you look up my stats on Black Ops Cold War, I have over a 3 KD. I'm in the 0.1% of players, right? Not to say that to brag. There's people with higher KDs and whatnot. But my experience and why I haven't played in the last several years now is because every time I get a match, it would be the same experience. And I came from competitive Call of Duty too. You got to remember that, for some of you that are my longtime subscribers. I played many, many, many tournaments. I played against Call of Duty world champions, some of the best players in the world. Right, I did that for many years online. And it started getting to a point where I couldn't tell the difference from pubs. Right? And I got to experience the golden era, Call of Duty 4 to Black Ops 2. The AMP clans, all the clans, We the OPs, and if you remember those, where pub stomping clans were huge in the early to mid 2010s before that died off because of modern CODs sucking so bad. And, I used to go after double nukes and Moabs and chem strikes. I was sweating, that kind of things. I wanted to be big on YouTube for that and be in the biggest clans. Well, that's been dead for many years now. And there's no sense of fun when you play these games. And So their biggest selling point this year is, and this, guys, this is where I talk about common sense. Okay, so Battlefield 6 is finally coming out, right? After many years, 2042 completely flopped. We all thought that was going to be like, okay, that's going to be finally a modern Battlefield. Well, nope, it was futuristic and had tons of problems that weren't Battlefield. And that wasn't true Battlefield. And so this one comes out, and it's looking really, really good. And they immediately start changing a lot of things. Call of Duty, they all automatically, right? For the last 6 years, we've been gaslit, saying, oh, it's always been in Call of Duty. It's always been like this. No, it's not. That's why we all knew in 2019 of the sudden shift. We have the literal admission in quotes. If you don't believe me, look up Game Informer interview 2019, Modern Warfare, from Joe Sackett and Taylor Kirasaki. They're on camera together saying this exact quote about helping lower skilled players get kills by increasing the time to kill. That's why when you get in a gunfight with somebody and you die in the most weird, like, just how does that happen? And you look at them, they're not even aiming well, they kill you in 2 bullets. Or the aim assist has been a problem for the last several years to help lower skilled players get killed. They say all of this on camera. Don't take my word for it. Take it from the horse's mouth. They made the maps the way they do. They say porous, just means they want to help campers. You know, the footstep audio and the doors. I mean, literally all this garbage has been to help bad players. That's why, name me one Call of Duty post Black Ops 2 that has streaks that beat it. You can't. You know why? Because we have literal admission that they thought that bad players or noobs were getting pwned too bad by swarms and, VTOLs and Lodestars and dogs and stuff, right? That's why you haven't had a one-game since. That's why Black Ops 3 came out. It downgraded in every single one of those equivalents from Black Ops 2. Completely downgraded, right? EMP systems and VSAT, but that's a different video. Point is that Call of Duty in the modern sense, like, I don't have I don't have short-term memory loss or anything like that, because that's why I was talking about earlier, is you have these people that don't use common sense, and they just say these things and make grand assumptions about the players, and they all think that we just don't remember this stuff. 10 years, yeah. 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Does it seem like a long time ago? Yeah, but did it fly by also? Yes, it did. Especially since the last 5 years, time's flown by for some reason, right? It flew by, but I still remember this stuff like the back of my hand. I can name you all the maps, the guns, all that in Black Ops 2. It's not hard. And like, I don't forget any of this stuff. It's like, it was yesterday. We were having the time of our lives. Sure, are we older now to where we have bills and school and stuff like that and jobs? Of course. But a fun thing is a fun thing. That's why I can continue to watch Lord of the Rings every year and never get tired of it. That's why I can watch Harry Potter Marathon every year and never get tired of it. Or hop on Master Chief Collection and play the old Halos and never get tired of it. Right? That's all we're saying. We don't have this massive collective memory loss. We remember what was fun, what worked. That's why Halo's been in the state of it's been. They haven't released one OG Halo title. They keep going their own way, and that's why it continues to fail and has barely 1,000 players on right now. Gears of War, and Battlefield was for the last several years until they finally got their act together. But Call of Duty, everything across the board has struggled. And Courage, if you guys know Courage, he was a former COD caster back in Black Ops 3 and whatnot. He just said the other day, he's like, I have no desire to play COD. He's like, and he said it best, he's like, they tie for years. I've been noticing this problem, this trend. Every time I get on X, oh my gosh, guys, look at this weapon. It is insane. And you know what they've done for the last several years? They've made it to where you can't get a weapon that you want and just level up all attachments. You have to use multiple different weapons just to get attachments on a weapon you really want to use. So if you don't want to use a crappy weapon, well, too bad. And guess what? You have skill-based matchmaking, so if you're not using the in-meta build, then you're at a disadvantage heavily. Right, if you got to use some other weapon just to get a basic attachment. Another thing that we didn't have in Classic COD that has no reason to even be in modern CODs, but they do it anyways because, screw it. So what that does is it turns off you get these guns, and so why get it if you can just get a bundle? Guys, you got to get this. It's usually a streamer, Warzone streamer or whatever. They show them getting absurd kills from across the map with a submachine gun or something that has 0 recoil and it kills in like 2 or 3 bullets, right? Again, from the admission of the developers saying they did that to help lower skill players get a kill. Remember that also. It's not just, get good or whatever, or have thumbs. Because remember, we have the developers literally backing up what I'm saying. So every month or so, they rush to buy these bundles that already come with preloaded attachments, and they're not making these builds terrible. So then people run around with these builds they pay $20-$30 for, and that's what they do. And then they nerf it after a month or two after they get their money's worth, and they just do the same thing over and over and over again. That's how these people make their money. And people keep showing these charts. Oh, Call of Duty's the #1 on Steam or whatever. Well, not anymore. But guess what? They bundle all of these different titles into one. It's called Call of Duty on Steam. It has Warzone. It has Battlefield 6 and 7, right? And they try to compare it to Battlefield. Battlefield's not even on old consoles, last gen. It's on current only. Call of Duty has multiple titles in one, and it's on old and new gen consoles. And they're barely scraping by. This is what I mean. Like, people say these super stupid things all the time on X, man. If you go to them and these tweets get like 200 or 300 likes and you get back and forth with these people, and it's just like they don't have any common sense, and they're in a bubble. It's the same thing with Halo Studio and 343 fans and Halo. They are trapped in a bubble. They say things like, oh yeah, classic mechanics, no sprint and clamor wouldn't work in 2025. Buddy, your game, Halo Infinite, if you go to Steam right now, has 1,000 players right now. MCC, 3 times that on Steam. And they say, well, that's just Steam. There's no other metric we have to go by, because they took another feature that were in classic Halos and classic Call of Duties called player population and player count in each playlist. So the only metric we have is looking on Steam charts. 1,000 people on right now on Halo Infinite as we speak. Yet, when you look at CS and Valorant, look at those player numbers. Wow. I thought those mechanics wouldn't work in current year. And that leads me to my last and final point, man. Go look at Black Ops 7 right now. You have people that are insulting my intelligence so bad and insulting your guys. If you guys play Black Ops 2, oh my goodness. They're trying to say, oh, this is how the mechanics have always been. You have people literally YYing, spamming, breaking the camera angles with the quickness. I mean, people are doing things on the screen that I'm watching to where it's like, this is not even remotely similar to the movement of classic Call of Duties. It's not even remotely close. You have people zooming past a corner instantly. You have people that are killing in 2 bullets. You have people that are wall bouncing off weird angles that completely disrupts the flow of these maps that worked in Black Ops 2. And yet you still have people that think that we just have massive amnesia or something. Like, this is not the movement. It's not even remotely close to the movement. And yet they say, oh, this is the closest we've had to Black Ops 2 in years. Really? Do you really think these streaks are anywhere as close? Do you think the weapon balance, the movement, or like I can't be the only one, surely. I mean, the campaign is just absurdly bad. I don't even want to talk about that. That's just a given. But it's astounding how these people I see, they're trapped in a complete, like they're in a vortex or something of their own bubble. And this is what skill-based matchmaking, strict skill-based matchmaking has done for the last 6 years. It's protected people so badly that it's distorted their view of what Call of Duty once was. And they're playing completely different games, and they have short attention spans. Because I remember these games, man. You can load it right now. Go compare the movements. Go compare the guns. Compare the streaks. Compare the maps. It's not even close. That's why I say to this day, Prove to me, give me one Call of Duty that beats Black Ops 2 in maps, in gun balance and gun variety, streaks. I mean, I can go on with game modes and all that. Give me one. You can't. Objectively, you can't. It's not even an argument. You cannot do it. And this is why Call of Duty continues to fail, and why it would be extremely easy if I were leading Call of Duty. I would just make Black Ops 2 on steroids. Like, take out Target Finder and stuff that, were completely noob friendly, and just leave in 99% of the game, and then add, like, graphic updates and stuff like that, right? Which, if you look at Black Ops 2, even the graphics held up today. It's amazing how we used to have such great games year after year, and now we're comparing trash with trash, because every game since Modern Warfare 2019 has been trash. I used to say Modern Warfare 2019 was the worst game of all time, but they're all the same to me, because they all are riddled with problems. Sure, Black Ops Cold War, was that the most COD-like game we've had and since this modern trash era of games? Yeah, but Strixel-based matchmaking in there, you have players getting streaks off of while they're dying. I mean, stupid stuff like that. We're just like, ugh. And that game has zero recoil as well. And I mean, it's just all the same problems. I don't have to go on with each individual game on some tangent. But I hope you guys get what I'm saying here. Like, it's not hard. This is not difficult in the slightest, right? Because I'm way less interested in making an individual review on these games every year, because it's the same. Go back on my channel every year is repeating the same thing, and it's right every time. And you get the bots in my replies that say, "Oh, you're just bad at the game." I show them my stats, and then they resort to something else, and then 2 or 3 months later, everybody says it's terrible, and it's the same cycle over and over again. We weren't doing this with COD 4 or Black Ops 2. I mean, we were getting spoiled back in those days, man, and it's incredibly sad to see how they're trapped in their own way of thinking, and I don't see Call of Duty ever recovering. They won't even let Modern Warfare 2 Remastered come out. They won't let player mods of these classic games come out without getting seized and desisted, because they know if they were to do that, those games would have more players than the current game. They can't afford that. They have to have you buying a million bundles for $20, $30 a piece just to get funds, right? That's it. And that's keeping it honest with you guys. So, I mean, this was kind of a long one, but it needed to be said for the last 6 years. It's the same slop over and over again. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched this far, I really appreciate it. And please subscribe. I got a lot of recent subscribers from my last video on Halo. And I'll catch you guys with another. I got more on the way, surely. I got Gears of War content and other stuff about those games as well in the current state. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.